Hey YouTube, and welcome to episode 4 of Virtual History Tours. Today we'll be taking a look at North Pond Terrace in Milford, Massachusetts. So the area of Pine Island Road and North Pond Terrace in Milford and just over the line in Hopkinton has an interesting history due to the fact that it was very active during Prohibition and has connections to the New England mob. So just before the start of Prohibition, two separate crime families had emerged in New England. The first was founded in 1916 by Gaspare Messina and was based in Boston. The other was based in Providence, Rhode Island, and was started in 1917 by Frank Morelli. By the time Prohibition was enacted, Frank Morelli controlled all the bootlegging and illegal gambling operations not only in Providence, but also in Worcester, Maine, Connecticut, and other areas. Milford, Massachusetts, and the surrounding area was part of Morelli's turf. The years of Prohibition were a crazy time for the country. Although the passage of the 18th Amendment had outlawed the sale of intoxicating liquors, people continued to drink them anyway. The alcoholic beverage industry simply went underground. When breweries and distilleries closed down, people began making their booze at home or setting up stills in secret locations. When the bars and taverns closed, they were replaced by speakeasies and clubs. Morelli made sure he received his cut. These small hunting and fishing clubs were away from town and only accessed by a narrow dirt road that was hardly passable for a team of horses and a cart, much less an automobile. This was the perfect spot for stills, clubs, and speakeasies. Rumors and stories abound about the old cottages being used for brewing, speakeasies, and even brothels during Prohibition. Although no documentation specific to the camps exists, there is a record of a still being raided close by on Purchase Street that gives us an idea about the lengths people went to hide their distilleries. According to a September 6, 1930 Boston Herald article, federal agents from Boston carried out several raids in the town of Milford, Massachusetts, and arrested 3 men, including Peter Consigli, for the manufacture of liquor. The Milford Daily had further details about the arrest in a newspaper article titled, "Federal Agent Sees Big Still on Purchase Street," which reported that 5 federal agents arrived at Consigli residence on the morning of September 4th and entered a barn located on the property. The agents had been informed that a still was kept there, so they waited in the barn in an attempt to catch someone in the act of operating the still. No one entered the barn, so the agents decided to seize the still and other equipment. According to the article, the still was the most unique construction of any ever located throughout the state, according to the police. It was found in a separate compartment in the barn and connected with a chimney in the house, therefore preventing tracing through any odor or smoke. The door of the barn had always remained open, which prevented any suspicion. It was later reported that Peter and his wife were arraigned on charges of violating the 18th Amendment, which prohibited the production or sale of alcoholic beverages. The charges against Peter's wife were dismissed, but an article published in the November 26, 1930 edition of the Milford Daily News reported that a federal grand jury in Boston returned 120 indictments, including one against Peter Consigli for violation of the Prohibition Act. In 1932, Frank Morelli merged his Providence family with the Boston family, which was now run by Filippo Bucola. Bucola had emerged as boss of the Boston family after Gaspare Messina stepped down. This was the beginning of the crime syndicate that would run the New England area for decades. Bucola ruled as boss of the combined family from East Boston until 1952, when he held a party in Johnston, Rhode Island to celebrate his retirement and Raymond Patriarca's ascension to boss of the family. Patriarca's reach into the Worcester, Massachusetts area included the bars, taverns, pool halls, and other small businesses where he placed his coin-operated machines. These establishments also served as local offices and paid tribute back to Patriarca. Allegedly, one of these establishments was Matty's Casablanca on the shores of North Pond and was owned by Matthew Iannatelli, whose father bought the first of 4 plots of land by the dam on North Pond in 1930. Matty's Casablanca stood for almost 50 years as a neighborhood tavern and a place to moor your boat and have a cold beer. Children were left to their own entertainment, swimming at the dam or eating frozen Milky Way bars, which Matty sold out of his place. Others remember being told as children to stay away from Matty's and its seedier clientele. One local resident who, as a teenager, lived on Pine Island Road and used to do errands for Matthew Iannatelli. He remembers a day when Matty asked him to take a car into town to have it washed, as he often did. When he arrived at the car wash, though, this time he was questioned about where he got the boss's car, and it was only then that he realized he was driving Raymond Patriarca's car. He said he was extra careful driving it back. Matty's Casablanca closed down in the 1970s, and Matthew Iannatelli died of cancer in 1980. A simple duplex now stands where the Casablanca once served Milford, North Pond, and the New England mob. The small cottages that once operated stills and speakeasies have been turned into modern homes for the most part, but we can take a tour and take a look at what's left of them now. So here we are on Pine Island Road here at the intersection of Tina Road, and just past that is North Pond Terrace, as we showed you on the map. North Pond Terrace development here. This road, North Pond Terrace, there's a paper road that runs between these properties here. It doesn't get much use these days, but this is the location of Matty's Casablanca. And if we drop in over here and take a look at what it looks like today. So here is North Pond Terrace. Here is the park that's shown on that map. It's a park, and the dam is running right behind here. And Matty's Casablanca, I don't believe this is the same building. I think it's a newer building. I could be wrong though, but it's a duplex now, and it looks like from the pictures before, the building came out this way as well. So that's what that looks like today. The rest of the cottages that were bootleggers and speakeasies and so forth, as you go up the road here, you can see, you know, some of these small places still exist. Not many of them. We've got more newer homes here that have been built relatively recently. This is an old clubhouse that stood for many years, boarded up, and is now gone. I'm on Google imagery date of 2013 here, and that little shack was still there, but that is gone. And as we go a little further up the line here, Pine Island Road in Milford, here's another one of the little cottages. As you can see, the type of buildings that were built back in the 1920s. And these, most of the time, were not even year-round homes. These were just summer cottages. And of course, this is a paved road now, but at the time, it was very difficult to get in and out of here, which made it even better. Another deal for the bootlegging and so forth. The county line is here too. So right here, I'm in Worcester County, and if I go a little bit further down the road here, I'll be in Middlesex County. And the way the revenuers and the government were operating, it was county-wide. So there's kind of a little gray area down here, and another reason why they used it for that purpose. These cottages here were built 1900. This is called Pine Butte now. I'm not sure what it was called back then. You really can't see it, but it's back here, and there's stories about that being a brothel during Prohibition. This house here is now gone. That was a small cottage. It's gone. Same deal with this. The small cottages have all been rebuilt from the little fishing camps and fishing clubs that used to exist here. This one here is an original. It's been added on to, but it's the original Camp Joy. That was built in 1907. Still retains most of its original cottage. And next door to it, we have another more modern home. And as you get down further down the road, you get a better idea of what the road was like to get up here, but not really, because from what I've read, it was really difficult to get up here with a car in the 20s. And as you can see, you know, we're really in the remote area here where it would be easy to hide these sort of establishments and stay away from town, away from snooping eyes. And there were a lot of Italian immigrants working in the Milford pink granite industry, and a lot of those were part owners of these clubs, and I think that's where the connection was made to Morelli and then later on to Patriarca. And that's what it stands like today. So hope you enjoyed this one, maybe a little bit longer than I wanted, but I think there was some interesting info on North Pond Terrace, Pine Island Road. Thanks again. Take it easy.